Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Puck Talk. For today's episode, we are going to be continuing our mini series where we talk about each and every team in the NHL. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Detroit Red Wings, who currently rank 22nd in the league. Let's get started. Oh, by the way, I just want to point out we also have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hey guys, I'm Ali, and I'm a self-proclaimed hockey analyst and I guess personality. So I'm just gonna be here to provide my thoughts and spit up some outrageous takes.
All right, back onto you. Let's get started.
Okay, yeah. So as usual, we're gonna discuss some categories for the Detroit Red Wings. In case you're new, I'll just say the categories right now. The first category is best player this season. We're gonna decide on that, and then second category is the status of the team. We're gonna say that in terms of rebuilding, contending, that kind of thing. And the third category is where we think they will finish by the end of the season. And then the fourth category is a potential deadline trade they could make. And then the fifth and last category is the panic level amongst the fan base. So yeah, let's get to it now. So like usual, we're gonna discuss the stats first. So let's start with the goalie stats. And I will say I'm surprised by how bad Nedeljkovic has played. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. What I think is Velkovic, like Peter Mrazek, which we saw in Toronto last year, had really good stats behind a really great defensive Kings team. And now, even in Detroit, even in his first year, he was not that great. He was solid. I wouldn't say solid, maybe like less of a liability, but now at this point, when the team is supposed to be getting better, he's kind of fallen off a cliff like really badly, and he's been pushed to the third goalie, the third string, and I I personally thought he would thrive a bit better in that scenario because it's a young and upcoming team and he's a young goalie. But so far he's been really, really disappointing. And I see why they signed Husso because they need that insurance in net, especially they're coming out of a rebuild. So
Yeah. Yeah, about what you said, the Canes kind of do like make goalies look good. Like even Kochetkov this year, he's unreal right now, but like I don't think he's that good of a goalie. I think it's the Canes making him look good, if that makes sense. And I
Yeah,
think
with
Nedeljkovic went through
one
the
of
same
the
thing.
better defenses in the league, of course.
Yeah. And then Husso's playing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That's 907.
2.95 GAA on a 90 is a really great stat line. That's like basically average or just above average,
Yeah,
roughly, I would say.
yeah. And then Hellberg, we don't really need to talk about.
it's
Only
kind of
played
like
He's a
only played
third.
5 games.
Yeah, he's fine.
Sample size
Hellberg.
is too small.
Hellberg's gone around between Seattle and Detroit and Ottawa and everywhere. Feel bad for the guy.
Man's still making $1 million, I think.
That's okay. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he's making money, but at the same time, like, he's moving everywhere.
yeah. I
paid
mean,
vacation.
hopefully he settles down at some point. Let's see this. Now let's move on to forwards, I guess, right now. Dylan Larkin leading the Red Wings again. I mean, I
That's
kind of expected that.
That's
he's
fire. That's fire. He's on my fantasy team right now. He's amazing.
that
Uh,
that's amazing. That's perfect
That's
for you, but
amazing. Yeah. But
I'm
even as I watch him, he's a really dynamic skater. Like the other day, I was watching Toronto versus Red Wings, and he's really like that X Factor guy. Like he can skate fast. He can get those shots on net. He can give you the insurance, the scoring you need. And I feel like Tyler Bertuzzi is not doing that well this year. Eh? Is he still
oh,
injured?
uh,
I'm pretty sure I can find out right now for us.
and I'm surprised Sider isn't up here either. Roenick is up there over him. I'm kind of surprised about that. I guess this guy's having
Sophomore slump, definitely.
yeah, that's true. I was watching like the commentators during the Tampa game were like Roenick has been getting most of the power play time now. They've taken
Mhm.
Sider off it. So I'm guessing that's a lot to do with it.
Sider has a lot of potential, but right now he's been disappointing to say the least.
Yeah, I thought he would be amazing. Well, okay, well, he has long career in
Yeah.
front of him, I guess. That's what. And then Raymond
He
is
should.
kind of Raymond's. I don't know how many points Lucas Raymond got last year, but I expected him to be a bit higher too.
I believe he was in the 50s somewhere.
Oh yeah, so he's about on the same pace as last year. Yeah, that's fine then. This team is kind of mid. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs anyways, though. And then they were never going to make it in the Atlantic.
So I just searched it up. Bertuzzi should be returning by next week, or he's
Okay.
already returned.
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean Detroit, like they were in a wild card spot for a good bit there. Like they were holding on to it for a while. So I
Yeah.
mean, right now this team is not amazing by any standards.
Yeah.
I mean, at best I could describe them as subpar, but with the direction of the rebuild, like considering like in 2019 they were like dead last, like the worst team in the league,
Yeah.
2019 or 2020. Now they've taken a huge step forward and they're actually a competitive group.
Yeah. It's the Yeiser plan. That guy's a god, bro.
He's
Hopefully
a
he takes in the right direction now.
Yeah, but like recent years though, like I don't know about that Sherrod signing. That was something that
Oh
I
yeah,
really did not like at all
that's
in this.
kind of weird. I don't know. I think a lot of people just give him the benefit of the doubt every time Yzerman makes the move. Like, me too. Like, I just think he has some back, like a good plan in the back. I don't know. He's a
He
good
def-
GM. I trust what he does.
I mean, he has more wins than losses, like many more wins than losses for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I guess those GMs do deserve some sort of some sort of leeway, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, he's done a good job in Detroit so far. Just those little hiccups are something. I don't know. Maybe Sherrod is some great analytical monster
Yeah.
defensively. But I just don't see it at this point of the season.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
true. That's fair. So now let's move on to the categories. So let's decide on the best player this season. I don't know. Would you give it to Larkin? But then Roenick has 29 points though as a defenseman.
Uh
I personally would give it to Larkin because of the fact that one, he's also been playing really well in the Red Wings for how long now? And two, like he's still playing good. Like he's playing to what I've expected him to be playing up till now.
But like Roenick has 4 points less as a D man.
I'm actually gonna go off the board here. I'm gonna say Husso is the best player this season.
Husso.
Ooh.
And that is a pick because when he is on his game, when he's on his game, he is that guy. Like he can stop those pucks at an insane level. And while the Detroit defense is like Hronek is an offensive guy, but like on the defensive end, they are not very good. And Satter has taken a step back this season. So when Husso, I was like all Detroit goalies, I was expecting them to have a sub 900 save percentage. And Husso, when he's hot, he's really, really hot.
I can see that argument actually. So yeah, for this part, we kind of all have to agree on one player. So now we
Okay.
all three of us have different players. So I guess we
Okay.
can convince each other.
Well, best forward is definitely Larkin, so I guess I can agree with that somewhat.
Okay, okay. So that best player, what do we think? Mark, do we default to Husso then?
I would like to say that Huso is playing really well, and I do always have a soft spot for goalies who are having that good of a stat line. So honestly, I will agree to Ali and probably give it to Huso.
Okay, then Husso it is. So then next would be the status of the team. I
Mm.
think coming out of a rebuild, it's fair to right. Like, I don't think
Uh,
they're trying to tank anymore.
It's not a tank. I don't think they are at the level where they are playoff hopefuls right now. I give them a year till they're actually playoff hopefuls, or at that point contenders at best.
So what
For
about the
me, I
status?
would say for me, I would say Detroit will not be considered a true contender until Boston, Tampa, Toronto fall off.
Yeah,
True.
I mean that is true.
Because
Boston, yeah. But then I like Buffalo better than Detroit though. I see Buffalo coming up before them.
Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo's been better, but that's partly because of a Tage Thompson heater.
Yeah,
That guy's absolutely going crazy.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So for their status right now though, I think it's coming out of rebuild is fair to right.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fair. They have significantly gotten better than the last two seasons. So yeah, we can say that.
I would agree. They kind of remind me of pre Kaprizov Minnesota Wild. They're just kind of
Yeah,
mid.
Mhm,
yeah.
for
Just
sure.
gotta develop some of their guys, you know. I think you guys are gonna pull it off. As you can tell, I'm a Tampa fan, so yeah, I have a lot of faith in this dude.
I mean, like, yeah, once Raymond's gonna be like a point per game guy, Sider is gonna be a defensive two-way player. I think
Yeah,
once that happens, they're gonna be a pretty scary team.
Yeah, and they got Husso back there too now.
Husso, he
Yeah.
can make those big saves, and that's a goalie that was not that well known prior to last season. He was like a Blues backup, and then he exploded, and I think he can do
Yeah.
that again with the right combination.
I don't know how they got him so cheap. Like, I don't know how he pulled that off. I thought there would be more teams in the market for Husso. Like considering like Edmonton and Toronto both needed goalies, I'm surprised
I think
Detroit
yeah,
got him for what they did.
I think Detroit was just willing to pay assets to get UFA rights, and they
Yeah.
took that advantage that the Blues were offering, and they just ran with it. So good on Eiserman to get him that
Yeah.
deal.
And now, where do we think they will finish by the end of the season? I okay, I don't see them getting better.
I
I
don't
truly
see him
don't.
cracking top 18. I'll put that out there.
That's fair. I can see that.
I will say
I think where they are right now is perfect.
I say that they stay within top 25 to top 20. I think they'll stagnate around that area most primarily.
I can get down with that. I think that where they are is good. What about
Yeah,
you?
sixth in the division. Sixth in the division, 22nd, 23rd in the league.
Mhm.
That's what I would envision them.
Okay.
Somewhere where they can grab a decent, maybe hopefully top 10 selection to bolster their team any more than it is already.
Yeah, okay, so let's go 20 to 25 then. Somewhere along there.
Yeah.
And then for the deadline trade, okay. They're gonna trade off an asset. That's pretty much what I expect, right?
Yeah, they'll
And
trade
then
off an older guy.
so Bertuzzi is a UFA. Larkin, I think they re-signed. He's also UFA after the season. And then Pius Sutter is a UFA, Sundqvist is a UFA, and Adam Ernie is a UFA.
Okay, let me float an idea by you guys. Okay, you
Yeah, sure.
might call me crazy, but do you think Pasta to Detroit is a real possibility in this
Mm,
offseason?
I that's the big one. I haven't heard anything about that though.
I've heard that Detroit might just let Larkin walk, and
Whoa.
they go for Pasta. And Pasta is definitely the better player. Like
Yeah,
you have Larkin, he's gonna want 8 million. You go 4 million more or 3 million more, you get Pasta. So I think they should really weigh their options because Boston, I don't know if they'll be able to re-sign Pasta, especially since talks aren't progressing really well at the moment.
yeah, yeah. I don't think Boston wants to pay him too much. Boston's had like the culture of underpaying guys, and I don't think Pasta is looking for money. So I can see him walking.
I
That's actually
like
an
the
interesting
idea of
theory.
Larkin walking away.
That's an interesting theory.
And Larkin might, I mean,
Oh,
he could definitely pull a good amount
one
of money.
second.
So
That's actually really interesting.
yeah, I've been thinking about it. It's something that could really, shake up the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how do we think they're gonna treat their trade? Like, what do we think that they truly want it in terms of the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think they sell off Bertuzzi. I think that makes the most sense to me.
I think yeah, they're gonna stockpile assets at least for now. I mean, you're not close to the playoffs and it's halfway point. There's no use on selling off your picks and prospects for players that you're not gonna use. So it'll be really stupid of them to do
Yeah.
that. So they just collect as many assets as possible, stock up for next year. Because this is
Yeah.
kind of those like transitionary years that if you mess it up, it'll have a long lasting effect on your future. So you
They
don't
don't
want to do that.
they don't be like the Canucks and keep Miller. You
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Like that you see how it's unfolding right now in Vancouver. It's really tense. It's
yeah.
really
Yeah.
tough to envision this happening with Detroit because Eiserman is a really good GM and he's proven that. But like, never say never. Something could like that could happen. Like they maybe extend Bertuzzi for too much.
Yeah. So okay, so there's Bertuzzi and Sutter. Which one do we think they move off of first? Like which one do we think they trade them at deadline? Those are the two UFAs, big name UFAs they got.
Suter, isn't he like young though?
He is 26.
I would give away Bertuzzi.
I think
That's
yeah.
that
I think
that's
Bertuzzi gets more
me.
value.
Pius Suter, yeah, Pius Suter. I mean, he has 11 points in 38 games. He's a bottom six guy. I don't think he's gonna fetch a tremendous amount of value. Like Bertuzzi is really that like viewed as that top six, bona fide top six winger that your team needs to keep it cohesive, keep the scoring going, and he's definitely gonna get something more.
Yeah, okay. Then let's go with Bertuzzi for this thing. And then next, let's see panic level. Oh yeah, sorry, we're Bertuzzi for picks, right? Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
picks, maybe prospects.
Picks, yeah,
Picks,
maybe like a future
I-
prospect for them that they could
I
like use.
Yeah,
I
and
heard the Leafs were interested in Bertuzzi like a year ago.
yeah.
That's something they could target. They're buyers. So yeah, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of need for forwards in the market right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. And then let's get to the panic level. What do we think the panic level in Detroit is right now?
All right, let's see here. You're coming off your team's basically coming off of a rebuild. Me personally, as a fan, I don't have too much experience with this because my team sucks. But I just want to say that since you're coming off a rebuild, and so far your team has taken a massive step forward from being worse to like, going up by about like what 10 slots. That's pretty. That's really good progress, all things considered. You should be happy that you're going up instead of staying stagnant at this point of the rebuild phase, I guess, or coming out
Yeah,
of it.
I think fans
Definitely.
should be very happy.
I think they're like the fans really trust Iserman to
Mhm.
carry out their vision, and he's been doing a pretty great job of that. So I don't think there's any fire Iserman chance,
Yeah,
if at all. And if there are, I think you should seriously consider reevaluating what you view as your team.
Mhm.
yeah. So I think panic level is none. I think fans are happy. Like this, like they're coming out of rebuild. They're happy right now. They can see like the light at the end of the tunnel now.
There's actual progression with their team, which is something that like a lot of teams can't really say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean when Zetterberg and Datsuk, but after that era ended, Detroit was kind of in trouble. I'm surprised they came out this quickly.
And good on them. They recognize where they were done. Basically, their time was up, and
Yeah.
they decided, hey, we better do this stuff now, so we don't do it for the next 10 years, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. And so that's about it for Detroit, unless you guys have any closing thoughts on them.
No, I think I've said what I think they are, and yeah, they're a good young upcoming team.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like what Ali said. They're making their way back to like what they used to be in the was it early 2010s? I'm pretty sure. Somewhere around that time. They're
I'm
trying
pretty
to
sure
make
they
their way
have the
back.
longest playoff streak in history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could definitely reach that threshold again.
Yeah. Well, Detroit fans, your team is looking better now, and I hope you guys make the playoffs soon. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.